Hello gamers and genders, and welcome back to the opera. This is part 2 of my batch of 4 videos all recorded in this first painting session, and today's subject is my favorite Pokemon, Espeon. So let's get into it. I have very fond memories of the Gen 2 Pokemon games. Silver was the first Pokemon game that I ever had that was on my own, that I wasn't borrowing from my older brother, and for as long as I can remember, Espeon has always been my favorite. I remember whenever I would get stuck and I wasn't sure where to go next, I would open up my Pokedex and just scroll through and read all the little entries and then hear all the different Pokemon cries. I think that's why Espeon stuck out so much to me, is because it had a really unique and mysterious sounding cry compared to all the other Eevees, and I just thought that it was so cool. Pokemon is also one of the reasons that I decided to try to get into watercolor. Particularly, I really like the old Ken Sugimori art style. That's an art style that I'd really like to try to emulate one day. I really like the way that he wouldn't just color in the entire area, like he would leave large areas of white and just leave like a suggestion of color there. That's not something that I try to do during this painting session, but I do think it would be a fun exercise to try sometime. So for this painting, I decided to go with my shading layer first because I knew that the main color was going to be too lifting. So here I've got Daniel Smith Cobalt Violet, and for the main body I'm going to bring in Ultramarine Violet, also by Daniel Smith. Ultramarine Violet is a color that I honestly only own because Espeon is my favorite Pokemon. Like, for me, it's the perfect convenience purple to be able to paint Espeon, like, whenever. And I know that depending on which game you're playing, or like if you're watching the anime, Espeon might look like a slightly more pinkish purple than this, but for me, I think that this is the color that Espeon is meant to be. And speaking of perfect Espeon colors, I would love to try to reimagine its shiny sometime. Like, I am a certified lime green shiny hater, and I think that Espeon deserves better. Personally, I think that a sunny yellow like a Azumarill would look really nice, but I also think that a white and a sky blue would work really well, since it's like a complement to Umbreon's. I don't know, I'll probably design a few and then see which one I like best. Which is like, oh no, another excuse to draw my favorite Pokemon, how tragic. Okay, so this color right here, this is the reason for my channel name. This is Daniel Smith Cobalt Teal Blue mixed with Daniel Smith Opera Pink, which I have called Cobalt Opera. I'm not a Daniel Smith loyalist by any means, but for this color in particular, it is pretty important to me that I'm using the brands that I am using for both of these colors. Like, that Cobalt Teal Blue is the most granulating version of this color that I've ever seen, and likewise, this version of Opera Pink is the most flocculating version that I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of operas, so this combination together gives it a lot of really dramatic color separation. If you like things like Roman Schmal Misty Morning, then I'd recommend giving this combination a try. And the final color lineup for this piece is Daniel Smith Ultramarine Violet, Daniel Smith Cobalt Violet, Daniel Smith Indigo, Da Vinci Opus, and my custom Cobalt Opera. I wasn't super happy with how little color separation there was in the background, so I'm just going to add some more water and give these colors more room to play, and then that is it for Espeon. Hey, thanks again for watching. If you made it this far, maybe leave a like. Or don't, I am still not your dad. But either way, I hope you have a colorful day.